Welcome. In front of me is an LG K52, and today I'll show you an unboxing along with a quick overview of the device. So this is the trash box that it comes in, literal cardboard without any kind of rigidity to it. And inside we get a phone, so I just straight up slap it out of here. And then get inside. And in here, the inclusion of a case. So always nice to see that. And some ejector along with just paperwork, so straight to the side. Then in here we get the case. And apart from that, we do have a charger. So this is a normal one, type A USB to, I guess, some type C. Am I right? Yep, type C. And the charger is measly 10 watts. That's always nice to see. So I just drop these two here, and let's see what else. There's the case. Let's pop it out of the casing right here. There we go. There's the phone. Now I did already set it up, so we don't have to. And straight off the bat, you can see this is the display. It does have a cutout for the camera right at the top. And the display here has a 6.6 inch display with a full HD resolution, which is 720 by 1600, and it's just an IPS LCD display with an 83.1% screen to body ratio and 266 pixels per inch. So nothing really special here. And then if we flip it over to the back, oops, there we go, flip it over to the back, we will see the camera setup. So as you can see, there is a quadruple camera setup, and let's be honest, we only get two cameras here, I would say. So we have the 48 megapixel wide, 5 megapixel ultra wide, 2 megapixel macro, and 2 megapixel depth. And 90% of the time, the 2 megapixels, both sensors are just absolute garbage and shouldn't be used ever. But we will test if that's the case here as well. So without further ado, let's launch the camera. Get out of here, there we go. Nope, not what I wanted. There's the camera, there we go. And let's see, we have photo size right now set to 12. Nope, that won't do. Max out 48 megapixels. And let's get to it. So there's my little plenty and way too big of a pot in it. I'm gonna try to get closer, see if I can focus on it. Okay, so these are the normal photos out of the 48 megapixel sensor. And this one looks okay. I mean, it's lacking focus right here, but that is my fault. Let's see this one, which was a little bit further. So the 48 megapixel is all right. It's nothing mind-blowing. As you can see, once you start zooming in, it kind of loses the quality. But overall, it's okay. You can see basically each needle right here. And it did a fairly good job with capturing them and separating it from the background right here. So thumbs up, it did okay. Can't complain here. And now we're gonna go to portrait, which for the most part uses the depth sensor. And here I will expect it to literally fall apart. So let's see if that will be the case. Trying to see where I'm trying to focus, it's always blurry, but everywhere around it's not. Let me try that again. Just gonna see, the lenses look okay. I'm gonna wipe them anyway, just to, okay, let's try that once more. So this is using, apparently, honestly I can't really see a difference between those two. It looks, I would say, almost exactly the same. Let's go, actually. So this is the, let me also check it quickly. Yeah, it is on portrait. So this should be using the depth sensor. But honestly, based on the quality that it is, it just looks like it is only the 48 megapixel sensor without the depth one. The depth usually creates fake bokeh, which, as we already seen, wasn't needed anyway. There was a bokeh effect because of the subject being way closer than what is back there. And here we have basically the same quality of the photo. That's why I don't think it is actually using the depth sensor right here. You could totally see it without any kind of doubt when the depth sensor is used, because it fails to separate the plant itself from the background. So right here where you have white, it would basically cut these needles and create this like distinctive line of blur. And it is not happening here. So either they did the most amazing job on a budget device that I have ever seen for a depth sensor that is there just to add a camera count, or it's not even using it, which is what I'm going for right here, that it's not even using it in the portrait. You can also, the AI, I don't think it's gonna do anything. This is basically the same. So yeah, I don't think I can show you the depth sensor because it is not being used. But what I can do is show you the macro lens. Now I'm trying to get as close as I can, see how close I can get before I actually capture the photo. So it looks like right about here is where it is focused. And this is the macro. Now, if you pay attention to this, and this looks blurry as hell, and it's a little bit bright, brighter than it should be, but I don't really consider that to be such a problem. The problem is the lack of quality here, right? For something that's supposed to be really good at taking close-up photos. If we go back to the actual, what was the first one right here, which used the 48 megapixel lens, and we zoom in. Okay, this one was, I think, just badly captured. Where was it? So as an example right here, you can see that I zoomed in really close, right? And this is still able to show like these threads basically from where the needles are coming from. Something that the macro cannot do, and this is just a 48 megapixel sensor. So if you compare that to this looks terrible. So yeah, I there's nothing I can say here. You clearly can see the quality of these photos here. So 48 megapixel here is okay. 5 megapixel ultra wide is just gonna be a 5 megapixel ultra wide, even if it's not the greatest, which it's probably not. It's still gonna do its job like it's supposed to. But the 2 megapixel depth, which is not even being used, or the 2 megapixel macro, which is outperformed by the main sensor, are just useless here. And that is just kind of what I'm getting at, that the phone has only 2 sensors here at best. Now, moving on to the front camera, the cutout one, and this is a 13 megapixel wide sensor that can shoot at 1080p 30 frames a video. So just quickly see what it can do. So right here is the result. Now quickly see how it came out. Now the 13 megapixel is okay. I'm not really complaining about it. It's just fine. It's not winning any awards here, but it is, well, respectable. Okay, so moving on to the last part of this, it will be just the sheer specifications of the phone. So we do have a Helio P35 processor here. It comes with a 64 gigs built-in storage and 4 gigabytes RAM, and that is the only option you can get. It is also expandable via SD card, so if you need more storage, you can just slap in a card and be fine. It does have a 4000 milliamp hour battery, and the charger was 10 watts, so that should be good enough for this kind of thing, although I would really prefer to have a faster charger here. It also has a side-mounted fingerprint, the power key. Right over here, as you can see in this cutout, this is the fingerprint sensor. It also has something that I really like to see, which is NFC. So you can use this phone to pay in the store for. And apart from that, there's not much more to say. Or apart from maybe one last thing that I will mention, it has a headphone jack. So if you still use headphones, you can totally use this phone with wired headphones. Now, finishing off, we have 3 different colors. So we have white, blue, and red. This is obviously the blue. And the price of this device comes at 180 euros, give or take. And at this price range, the device is okay. The only problem I have is with the cameras right here, the 2 useless sensors. But then it's not like a LG kind of thing. Literally every manufacturer does it. And I have problem with everybody that does it. I basically mention that every time, no matter what the phone brand is. I don't care which one does it. I will point out to everyone that trash cameras are trash and they will not contribute anything. So LG is not just a specific case here. But outside of that, the device looks okay. The screen isn't getting like super bright. There is maybe a little bit of a problem during the daytime. As you can see right now, it's maxed out. And in the environment that I have here lit up around me, which I can kind of show you as a reflection. So we have one light right here, we have another one right here, and another one right here, and a warm one. So with this lighting here, and this is the only lighting that is in here, the screen already is looking like it's in normal circumstances at kind of like a mid brightness, where it's similar to how paper looks like, if you know what I mean. But if you go outside into the direct sunlight, I presume this will get really bad. So you might want to keep that in mind. Outside of that, the phone works okay. As you've seen, there was not much lagging here. It did work fine. It does have a bit of a slower storage here, but other than that, it runs fine and I cannot complain about it. The display is fairly minimal. As you can see, there is you only have this chin at the bottom, and the only other obstruction is right at the top with the camera, a little punched out hole. So it is a fairly nice looking display right here, besides the brightness. The 720p resolution here, like I mentioned before, honestly at this size and how I use the device doesn't really bother me. I can't really see pixels, but I'm also not the person to pixel peep and put the phone under a microscope, so maybe I'm not the best one to judge here, but to me it looks fine and I can't complain here. And outside of that, the phone is okay. It's not the best budget phone, it's also far from the worst one, and if you're looking for anything that is kind of like in the middle, that you for instance, feel like you just can't go really wrong because, well, it's kind of like a I would say in the middle of the budget devices, then it's okay. It might be a little bit overpriced in my opinion, but it's okay. Don't have any kind of huge glaring problems with it. And the inclusion of a case is also a nice addition. Now, talking about the case, let's actually put it in and see how it looks like. So the casing creates a protection for the camera, so you won't actually scratch them. And outside of that, it has this kind of like a bumper feeling all around, but it doesn't do this weird kind of thing where the edges are super like protruding out of the screen. You can still place it on the screen, and the bumper or the casing will protect it, but it doesn't create this annoying kind of weird edges right in the corners, which is really nice. Sorry for that. So yeah, it's an okay device. That's basically the gist of it. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.